It's sort of an odd week in college football, and here's what I mean. It is certainly tough to bet against Las Vegas, but you have to ask, what were the odds makers thinking this week? Purdue jumped into the top 25 after dominating the number 2 team in the country. That was Iowa. They are a 3-point underdog at home against a 500 Wisconsin team. How about this? San Diego State, also a slight underdog against Air Force. The Aztecs sit at number 22. That's their highest ranking since reaching number 19 for 3 weeks in 2017. I'm not done. 2 more examples. Oklahoma State getting 7 points against Iowa State. It's just the second time over the last 40 seasons that a top 10 team was a 7-point underdog against an unranked team. Think about that. Top 10 against an unranked team. And our last ranked underdog is Oregon. The Ducks have a 16-game win streak at home, but they are 7-7 on the road since their home win streak began. So if you're keeping score, that is 4 ranked teams who find themselves underdogs against teams that aren't ranked, Trevor. So clearly there are a number of ways to look at this, the eye test included. So we'll do a little contender or pretender, if you will, with some of these teams, and I'll start with Oregon.
Oregon, Wendy, is absolutely a contender. I mean, they lost to Stanford, yeah, but literally half of their team was injured, and the committee should pay attention to that. Now that they're getting healthy, they're starting to play better, and if they stay healthy, they can dominate down the stretch, and they will have in their back pocket something that no other team has so far, and that is the best non-conference win in college football when they went out to Columbus and beat Ohio State. So if they're able to right the ship and play better and win out, Davey, Oregon, with that Ohio State victory, has to be a contender.
I disagree, big fella. We're disagreeing already. I think they're a pretender. We talk about how they've played recently. They didn't look real good against Cal, brother, last week. I've seen them struggle week in and week out. The injuries, season injuries have mounted for them. They don't look like they're clicking on both sides of the football or really at all. I haven't seen them look great in a lot of weeks. So I think they're actually a pretender. I think they'll get tripped up this weekend. And if not, I still think they'll find a way to lose throughout the rest of the season.
All right, you talked about that statement-making win, Trevor, against Ohio State. So let's look at the Buckeyes for just a minute, because really, for that team in particular, it's been a tale of 2 different seasons. Since that loss to Oregon, Ohio State has been on a tear. They lead the FBS in points per game, yards per game, and point margin per game over that span. So, David, they're playing a lot better football than we previously saw. Is Ohio State a contender or a pretender?
They're a contender. Their offense is going to show up and show out every weekend. The reason they lost to Oregon is because their defense was atrocious. It looked atrocious versus Michigan. They made a coordinator switch. They look more organized. They're playing more zone defense than you've seen Ohio State play in the past. I like what I'm seeing from them on the defensive side of the football. They're allowed to improve. They have improved. Oregon beat them, but I still think Ohio State looks like a much better team right now, contender.
I agree that Ohio State is better. I've got them at number 2, Ohio State, in my power rankings right now, and I don't have Oregon in the top 5. But the defense is what to talk about when it comes to the Buckeyes. Their offense is the best in the country. But the problems they had on defense in September were very correctable. They had a bunch of new starters and a bunch of young guys filling in for injured starters. And the problem was mental errors, missed assignments. But in recent weeks, they've been much cleaner when it comes to those assignments, and you're starting to see their talent. And so if they continue with that, I think we can look at the Buckeyes the same way we looked at them in August before those September defensive struggles.
Yeah, and I don't think, Trev, neither one of ours are saying that their defense is elite, because it's not, and it's not even close to being what it used to be. But if it's good, that receiving core is the best in the country, hands down, and that offensive coach hadn't changed with Ryan Day. That offense is probably, next to Georgia's defense, the most dominant side of the football in all of college football.
So you agree, David, with Trevor, that that's the best offense in the country?
Oh, yeah. Best offense, most explosive, just playmakers galore. Stupid.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.